I was at the school gate this morning and someone said to me that they'd heard me on yesterday in Parliament and asked why did I speak in the House of Lords debate. The answer is very simple. If we can't get an elected second chamber in the 21st century in this country, what on earth has happened to our political system? I've seen so many attempts at House of Lords reform fail. I can't believe we're now going to fail when all three parties have committed to an elected House in their manifesto. That's never happened before. So I felt moved to speak, in part to dismiss some of the bad arguments that have been put about why reform should be a bad idea. Just because you don't like Nick Clegg is not a good idea, is not a good reason for opposing House of Lords reform. But also to take on this central political argument that a stronger House of Lords, because it's more legitimate, a more assertive House of Lords would be bad for the House of Commons. I actually think the opposite. I think it would be good for the House of Commons. And in his wind-up speech, Chris Bryan, speaking from the Labour front bench, made a really good point. He said that the House of Lords' current composition, quote-unquote, infantilises the House of Commons. And he made the point that ministers often are told by civil servants, look, save your amendments for the House of Lords. In other words, don't take the House of Commons seriously enough because you've just got to go into the Lords later. That's not a good way of working, and I think that we should be grown up enough to follow through on the commitments that have been made. Of course, there are detailed issues that need to be worked through. Pat McFadden made a really good speech yesterday saying, look, watch out for this issue of entrenching some of the procedural conventions that govern the House of Lords, the so-called Salisbury Convention that it will never oppose on second reading manifesto commitments. Those are good points, but they don't take away from the fundamental point, which is that a more legitimate House of Lords will make for a more legitimate Parliament, and I think that's a good thing.